They call it a government shutdown. I call it a hostage situation, with your taxes as the ransom. Every few years, Washington stages the same drama. Cameras roll, clocks tick down, and politicians pretend the nation's about to implode, while the only real thing shutting down is accountability. If you're new to this channel, I am politically independent and have no allegiance to either side. So today, I'm going to lay out the facts so that you understand the real reasons behind this government shutdown. A lot of people wonder how a majority Republican Senate can't pass a resolution. But the truth is, if you are unaware, that they need a total of 60 votes to pass. And right now, there's only 51 Republicans in the Senate. So that means that they need Democratic support to resolve this issue. So what is it that Democrats really want? Well, let's lay that out. Democrats want to bolt on extensions for Affordable Care Act subsidies and Medicaid funding. Republicans want to strip it out. As a matter of fact, they already did. Here's the issue with ACA subsidies. Premiums have climbed every single year since the ACA passed. If government subsidies made things cheaper, health insurance would look like Costco right now, not college tuition. According to the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, average family premiums have risen by more than 50% since the Affordable Care Act took effect. Millions of households earn too much for subsidies, but still can't afford coverage. If that's affordable, then we've redefined the word. Kaiser Family Foundation shows employer and exchange premiums climbing year over year despite subsidy expansion. CBO and GAO reports show ACA marketplaces have become less competitive. In many states, one or two insurers control over 80% of the market. And Urban Institute, which is nonpartisan, notes subsidy costs ballooning far faster than enrollment growth. Now, the ACA is not the basis of this video. I'm just quickly going over the point. There's an economic principle that I think you should understand, which is that government subsidies do not make things cheaper. They don't. Sure, initially, but in the long run, it reduces competition. And as the ACA has proven, it inflates premiums. Why? Because all of a sudden, it doesn't matter that people can't afford it if the government is willing to subsidize it. And you can see that play out over the last, 2 decades or so with the ballooning rise of college tuition, which is a little different because it is a mix of government subsidies, but also banks willing to give out what you would call a high-risk loan to students. But anyway, on to the next point. Everyone in Washington talks about compassion, but nobody wants to define it. To me, compassion isn't writing endless checks. It's building a system that actually works. Right now, that system bleeds billions in fraud, clerical errors, and phantom beneficiaries. Money that never reaches the people it was meant for. A 2023 GAO audit found improper payments across federal benefit programs topping $200 billion in a single year. That's not generosity. That's negligence. And then Democrats fight any talk of work requirements, claiming that they will punish the poor. Republicans oversell this as a silver bullet. Both are half right and honestly half lazy. If you are able-bodied, you should go to work, or at least show that you're looking. If you're not, the system should protect you. But right now, We make everyone prove innocence through paperwork designed during the Carter era. Here's a crazy thought. Automate it. We already have IRS, SSA, and unemployment databases that track income and status in real time. Connect them. If you're unemployed, the system knows it. And if you're not, it knows that too. No forms, no lost mail, no middleman bureaucracy milking the process. That would slash fraud, it would speed up payments, and it would stop politicians from using these programs as moral theater props. But they don't do it. Because fixing these programs would mean losing a campaign talking point. And in DC, performance always pays better than progress. Ever notice how the only program they name drop is WIC, Milk for Babies? You never hear veterans healthcare or workers' comp as the hill to die on. That's because WIC photographs well. Veterans in a waiting room do not. It's optics over outcome. Virtue by proxy. Congress would rather feed its image than feed its integrity. You'll hear that illegal immigrants don't get free healthcare. Technically true. Functionally false. Hospitals get reimbursed through federal pools for uncompensated care. And that includes anyone who walks through the door. So no, they're not on the payroll, but they're still on the invoice. Taxpayers cover the tab. Politicians cover their tracks. Florida's health agency estimated $660 million in hospital costs in 2024 for illegal immigrant admissions and emergency visits, with only $76 million of that reimbursed under Medicaid. Or Texas. Hospitals spent $121 million in 1 month caring for patients lacking legal status. And those figures exclude any offsetting payments. But, and this is the key, hospitals rarely track immigration status. And many estimates never subtract payments received. The true net cost? Nobody really knows. But it's not zero. So, when someone says that illegal immigrants don't cost us, they're playing with words, not with the books. And then there's the foreign aid clause. Billions shipped overseas in the name of stability, while our own streets look like an open-air triage unit. We bankroll border security in the Middle East, while fentanyl pours across ours. Charity starts at home. Or it isn't charity at all. It's public relations. Every dollar spent stabilizing someone else's backyard while American citizens sleep under bridges is proof that this government doesn't need more money. It needs new priorities. Now, you've all seen the headlines. Circumcisions in Zambia or whatever. Again, this is not the basis of this video, but let me just go through what seems to be the Democrats' biggest issue with foreign aid right now, so that you understand what their actual point is. And I will need my glasses for this. The U.S. is consistently the largest single donor to international climate-related funds, such as the Green Climate Fund and Global Environment Facility. Okay? According to GCF's own contributor reports, the U.S. pledged $3 billion in the first funding round and has so far delivered about $2 billion. Okay. Most developing country members contribute less than 1% each. So who is that really benefiting? Okay. But let's read on. For comparison, the entire European Union contributes roughly a similar amount, but through dozens of nations. The U.S. taxpayers end up underwriting roughly a third of total GCF resources while receiving no direct domestic infrastructure return. So here we are again. With our tax money being spent on things that have no net benefit to us, while we're funneling billions of dollars overseas that we will never see again. But it gets worse. A GAO review in 2023 found that many GCF projects lacked measurable outcomes and that monitoring frameworks are incomplete or inconsistent. A 2022 OECD assessment noted that of the hundreds of GCF-funded projects, fewer than half had verified emissions reduction data after 3 years. Even USAID's own Inspector General has cited unclear cost-benefit alignment in overseas renewable energy plants, where administrative costs consumed up to 30% of total expenditures. So let's do a little math for those of us who are not accountants. $3 billion times 0.3 equals somehow this program costed $900 million to operate. Now, for those of you who are not accountants, that is not good money management. That's bad. That's very bad. And this is one of the main reasons that Democrats are holding our government hostage for what's basically an international slush fund. And we really don't even understand where this money's going. So, while billions are exported through climate and green development funds, U.S. domestic clean energy infrastructure, especially grid modernization and rural resilience, remains underfunded. Okay. In 2024, the Department of Energy's Grid Resilience and Innovation Partnership received less than $1 billion in new appropriations. Now, I told you I made political, but this is really starting to piss me off. But I do just want to be clear. I'm not a Republican. But if this is the reason that our government is shut down, if this is the reason that my current VA education benefits are on hold, I'm not happy. And you shouldn't be either. Programs like the Green Climate Fund sound noble until you check the receipts. And again, the GAO audit says half of their projects don't even report results. That's not climate leadership. That's foreign subsidy. Meanwhile, our own grid is falling apart. So, what's the real reason for the shutdown? Not healthcare. Not compassion. Not principle. Power. And the optics of pretending to wield it. And don't get me wrong. Both parties are addicted to the performance. Well, I'm Gray Ledger, and this was the Ledger Brief, where I count the cost and the numbers never lie.